Hello and welcome to video number 5 in my series on conflict management. My name is Ania Kolbuszewska. One of the things that we need to do in a conflict situation, and it really doesn't matter whether it's a conflict that we are involved in or a conflict in our team which we need to help resolve. So one of the things that we need to do is to look behind the scenes of conflict. Conflict is obviously an emotional challenge, and the two emotions which are most closely associated with conflict or confrontation are fear and anger. And these two extremely powerful emotions and their interplay are our focus today. We are all familiar with the fight, flight, or freeze response. When does a response like this happen? It happens when we are in danger, which means that we feel threatened and are very likely afraid. And conflict is very often perceived as a threat. So here's one possible sequence of events. There's a perceived danger or threat. This causes fear, and fear often makes us feel helpless. And so we may express this fear and helplessness through anger. In fact, we can find fear behind practically every expression of anger or aggression. Imagine, for example, a family meeting where one of the guests is a single father whose daughter misbehaves during the celebration. The father's reaction is quite extreme. He shouts at the little girl and tells her to go spend some time alone in another room immediately. This is, of course, an expression of anger, but this angry outburst could have been caused by the father's fear that other family members might criticize his way of upbringing the child. So we have a situation where fear is expressed through anger. But why anger? Well, often it's because expressing anger is much more socially acceptable than showing fear. Now, think of a situation when you were angry at someone or someone was angry at you. What fear was there? In conflict, we will also see a reverse interplay of fear and anger. Aggression, which is a behavioral expression of anger, can be used to induce fear in the other side in the hope of forcing them into submission. An American psychologist, John Gottman, said, "When you're furious, you can't be curious." And this means that if you are gripped by strong emotions, such as anger, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to respond to confrontation or conflict in a constructive way. And how we deal with our own or somebody else's anger decides whether conflict is going to be productive or destructive. We all know people who say never show anger, but we also know people who say that you should express your anger because it's a cathartic experience. But both reactions are extreme reactions, and as such they are pretty risky tactics. So what we need to find is a way to express anger in a responsible way which does not lead to hurting the other side. And this is precisely what we're going to look at in the next video, responding to anger constructively. So watch this space for practical tips on dealing with anger in a situation of confrontation. For now, thanks a lot for watching and see you soon.